You can now turn your images into videos with AI directly inside Photoshop. Make your model smooth naturally, turn 3D drafts into realistic renders and bring them to life, transform day to night and build animated time lapses, or even generate high-energy action scenes with Seedance 2, all in up to 4K resolution. The most powerful way to create AI videos is by using images as start and end frames. And that's exactly why working in Photoshop is so powerful. You can edit your images with AI or generate them from scratch and turn those into hyper-realistic videos. It all works with the LUMINEL Plugin, the only tool that integrates advanced image and video models directly into Photoshop. In this video, I will break down my full workflow and show you how to apply it across people, fashion, architecture, automotive, and commercial projects. Let's jump right in and start with the first use case. Here I have two architecture images, one shot during blue hour and the other one in bright daylight. First, I want to transform the sunny daylight into a saturated blue hour scene. I go to the Edit tab and use a simple prompt to convert the lighting while maintaining the original composition. For the model, I select Nano Banana 2 and switch the resolution to 4K. I generate, and this is the result. Now I switch over to the Animate tab and select Seedance 2.0. For the quality, I use Standard, set the resolution to 1080p, and the duration to 5 seconds. You can leave the aspect ratio on auto, but it's important that your composition fits in one of these supported aspect ratios for the best results. Also, your canvas should have a maximum resolution of 4K. You also have the option to generate audio. If you only want sound effects, simply add no music to your prompt. Now I add the newly generated blue hour image as the first frame using the layer option. And then I add the second perspective as the last frame. Here's the prompt that I used. I basically instructed Seedance to perform a smooth cinematic arc move while keeping the building in focus. I generate, and Photoshop asks me now where I want to save the final video file. I select the folder, click Save, and the generation starts. At the bottom, you will also see a job overview panel, where you can monitor all active generations. You can even run multiple generations at the same time. Once the generation is finished, the video will automatically appear inside your Photoshop layer stack as a smart object. To preview the animation, go to Window and select Timeline. You can extend the timeline length to make the full clip visible. Each generated video gets its own track inside the Photoshop timeline, based on your layer stack. When you first play the clip, you may notice dropped frames because Photoshop's playback engine isn't optimized for smooth real-time playback. Simply scrub pseudo timeline once until the small green cache line at the top is fully loaded. After that, playback becomes much smoother. I want to animate in this fashion shot, but first we're going to change the outfit. I already prepared a few reference images of a dress of this layer. Inside the editor, I add them as additional reference images using the layer option. And then I turn the visibility of the reference layer off. Now I simply prompt the model to make the character wear the dress while maintaining the exact composition, character consistency, and lighting setup. For the model, I select Nano Banana 2 and switch the resolution to 4K. I generate, and this is the result. To preserve as much of the original image as possible, I create a mask and blend the generated result back into the original shot. After that, I merge the layers together. Now I switch over to the Animate tab and add the merged image as the first frame using the layer option. For the prompt, I keep it very simple. The model is posing laterally, wind blowing softly, new music, cinematic dolly in. For the video model, I select Kling 3.0. I set the duration to 5 seconds and I switch the resolution to 4K. Weave the aspect ratio at 16:9 and then I hit generate. And this is the result. I have a simple shaded 3D scene here, and first we are going to turn it into a realistic render. I go to the Edit tab, and here's the prompt that I used. For this example, I'm using Nano Banana Pro because it delivers slightly more realistic lighting. I generate, and this is the result that I got. Now I switch over to the Animate tab and add this generated image as the first frame. For the video model, I select Seedance 2.0. I set the quality to standard and choose 1080p resolution. And we set the duration to 5 seconds. I leave the audio generation enabled because I want ambient sound effects. But in the prompt, I specify no music. Make sure your composition is exactly in a 16:9 format and does not exceed 4K resolution. I generate, select my output folder and click Save. And this is the final result. In this use case, I created a complete automotive action shot entirely from scratch using a Nano Banana Pro. Here's the prompt that I used. It's fairly detailed, so I would just display it on screen instead of reading the entire thing. Once the image was generated, I switched over to the Animate tab and turned it into a cinematic action sequence using Seedance 2. The prompt itself was intentionally very simple. The car is driving and transforms into a transformer. No music. I add the generated image as the first frame, set the resolution to 1080p, and use standard quality. Since the image is already in a 16:9 format, I can leave the aspect ratio on auto. I set the duration to 8 seconds and hit generate. To preview the generated video, you can also simply open it directly from the folder you selected as the output application. And this is the final result. Here's another very interesting use case for AI video. Using it to edit and create new perspectives from a single image. You may have seen Photoshop's new 3D rotate tool. I also have a dedicated video on that one, including how to enhance its results using the LUMINEL plugin. But you can actually use AI video as an alternative approach. The native 3D rotate tool only rotates the subject, but it doesn't adjust the background. With AI video, you can go further. Simply prompt the video model to orbit around the subject. I select Kling 3.0 with 4K resolution for maximum quality. After the video is generated, I can precisely select the exact angle I want by scrubbing through the timeline. Once I find the perfect frame, I capture it by copying it into a new layer, effectively creating a new still image. In the next step, I refine the image quality. I switch to the Refine tab and use single layer upscaling. You can choose between different upscalers, but I typically use the LUMINEL upscaler because it delivers solid results at a lower cost. I upscale the image by a factor of 2 and make sure to enable Create New Layer to keep the workflow non-destructive. I click Refine, and this is the final result. That's it for today. This space is evolving fast, and the plugin will continue to integrate new models. If you want to stay up to date with these workflows and tools, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you found this useful, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you in the next one.